Belpre City Schools is closer to beginning construction on the new school building on Stone Street. Belpre City Schools has been working with Fanning Howey to create a rendering of the design of the new middle school and high school building. According to Superintendent Jeff Greenlee, the current middle and high school building was built in 1928 and the elementary school was built in 1969. Both buildings are in need of repairs and renovating would cost more than rebuilding. Greenlee says the new building would benefit students and families.
So I think, if you look at research suggests that when new buildings do open, you see an increase in academic outcomes. Belpre is an exciting place to be, and I think the new buildings will continue to make the case for families to come here, and I think we'll see an increase in enrollment as a result.
The project is estimated to cost around $45 million, with $20 million coming from the state of Ohio. Greenlee hopes to break ground in November and to have construction complete in August 2028.